California has the highest number of homeless than any other state. We have about 49% of all the homeless in the country in our state. Newsom has allocated $13 billion to the homeless, and in essence, everything has failed and failed completely. Now, if I'm correct, 1 billion has actually been used, or is in the process of being used, and he wants the other 12 billion. What is your stance on this issue with 13 billion allocated or trying to get allocated since Newsom took office? And what we get a lot of political answers, but from your perspective, what actually needs to happen to start really taking care of the homeless issue?
Yeah, I mean, to me, yeah. So first thing is, I don't want to see any more money go to the homeless programs until we have benchmarks set up. So here's part of the reason why. So we have so much more homeless. All the state does is just fund. They just say, here's the money, go. So we do housing first, which has failed. We do all these other things that have failed, clearly, because we have more homeless. We reward homeless. And one of the things that they have in this state, and that we call it, and I don't like this term, but they have it, is it's called low barriers. Well, what does low barriers mean? Low barriers mean that if you're a homeless person and you want to shoot up, you can go to a state-sponsored facility and you can shoot up. It's low barrier. Why do they call it low barrier? All they want is people off the street. They don't care if they're getting help. They don't care if they're getting the services that they need. They just want them out of sight, out of mind in a homeless hotel. And we've seen all of those things happen, right? Well, that's clearly failed. So what do we need to do to actually fix the problem? Well, to me, again, I have found, as I've been around a little bit longer in some of this, that too complex sometimes is just too complex. Here's the simplest version of what needs to happen. We know from the data, this is undisputed data, over 90% of the homeless have mental illness. 90%.
Wow. I did not know it was that high.
We know that it's drug-induced, alcohol-induced mental illness. I mean, we know that for a fact, right? And I may be wrong on 90, but I'm going to tell you, it's close. It is very high. So when we look at that, we go, okay, so we're not going to give you services. We're going to let you roam free and scream at a wall. And I share this story because I think it's really important for us to understand, that these are real people. So, in Lakeside, I was driving down our main street, I don't know, 3 months ago. And there's this guy, he's our token homeless guy, who everybody knows, and they like him. When he's on his meds, right, he's great. And he actually is functional. Well, he was clearly off his meds because it was about 9 o'clock and he was screaming at a wall and punching it out. Oh. And I'm going, there's literally nothing I can do legally to get him into the services that he needs, because we can't compel people into services. We can't force people into services. The ACLU has said you cannot take people and force them into services to get help. Correct. You can't do it.
Correct. And
I just don't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, look, I just don't believe that that's right. I believe that you should be able to set benchmarks for somebody and say, look, you're clearly screaming at a wall. You need help. Let's get you help. Here are the benchmarks. And let's put you into a faith-based or non-faith-based nonprofit that has benchmarks. I prefer faith-based because they're not low barrier, they're high barrier, and they require you to do something, right? You can't just sit on your fanny all day long. So the point is that it's really not that difficult to solve. It's just that we have to change the way the code is written.
Hey everybody, this is Big John from Grumblings Media, and I just want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our efforts here at Grumblings Media, just smash the subscribe button right here, totally free, or just go ahead and consume more of our great content. Click either one of these two boxes.